I have thoughts. I have thoughts on talking yourself out of what you really want. And on the flip side of that coin, talking yourself back into it. Because if you're anything like me, you have a whole arsenal of tools at your fingertips and a whole bunch of supportive people in your network, bless them, who can help you justify and kind of rationalize why now isn't the time for something. Or maybe you didn't really want it. If it didn't happen, maybe you didn't really want that anyway. So if you set a goal, for example, and it doesn't come to fruition on the timeline that you made up while you may have been in a hypey, infatuated state, it doesn't come to pass. And then you feel this disappointment that it didn't happen. And if that happens repeatedly over time, you're going to start letting stop letting yourself have goals anyway, and start talking yourself out of what you actually really truly want. But the thing is, that voice that's like, yeah, right, I was just kidding, I didn't actually want that anyway, that voice isn't telling the truth. And the beautiful thing about your system is intuitively, you can't BS yourself. Like, part of your system knows you're feeling disappointed, you're feeling unfulfilled, and that nagging feeling is just going to get louder and louder and louder. If you're not listening to it intuitively, you're going to start getting feedback from your body by beautiful design. Those are our internal feedback systems. And if you're not listening to it intuitively and you're not listening to it physiologically, you're going to start getting it socially. Like, hey, friends that are asking or pointing things out to you, like, you don't really seem like yourself. Like, are you doing okay? And then the big, oh-ish kind of stuff can happen to really try to wake you up. And the whole goal of all of these feedback systems is to get you back into authenticity and to actually being honest with yourself about what you want. Let's rewind, because I actually like to say this in a set of three. Who you are, being really honest with yourself about who you are, what you really want. And the third piece is very important, what you are currently willing and able to do about it. Because maybe you don't have the capacity right now, emotionally or mentally or financially, that you may have had at some point in years past. Who gives an F? Let's talk about who you are, what you want right now, and what you're currently willing and able to do about it, based on the resources and the desires and the values that you have currently in this moment, because nothing else matters. And I'm a little fired up this morning. I'm just getting home from visiting with my parents, and on their piano in their front entry, they have a sign that says, "Enjoy life. This is not a rehearsal." And this message just keeps popping up because it's years ago, back in 2019, after having 2 chemical pregnancies back to back in the summer of 2019, when we decided to open up to the possibility of bringing Noe, our third completer crew, into the family. And I was getting this message, like, after having these 2 chemical pregnancies, I was like, what's the message? What is the takeaway? Don't mess with Maui when he's on the breakaway. Sorry, I think of that every time. If you know, you know. But I'm like, what is the message for me? Because that is big, to have 2 miscarriages back to back, literally in one summer. What is the message? And for me, that message, and I've shared it in previous Naptime Empires podcasts and things, is like, do this for you. Don't do it based on it, like, take care of you and own these different parts of yourself that you've been trying to talk yourself out of. For me, that was business. Like, do that for you. Prioritize your health and your body and your physical vitality for you. Whether or not you're going to have me join the club, prioritize these things for you. Work on your marriage and the way that y'all are relating and appreciating each other for you, because this is your life happening now, whether or not I join the party physically. And that was a message that really struck me at the end of 2019. Thank you, Noe, in spirit. Like, that was my interpretation, at least, right? And that's what matters, is how we're interpreting things. And we can change that. So anyway, that was another nugget of, like, life is happening right now. This is not a dress rehearsal. Nothing is guaranteed if we're not willing to actually show up for it and claim that that's what we want. And earlier this year, I believe it was, I don't post on Instagram much. I have been lately, though, because I want people to know that I'm here and available, and the trimester of awesome is happening. This is fall of 2022 as I'm writing this. But earlier this year, I'm like posting my thoughts on the whole idea that what is for us cannot pass us. But I'm like, yes, it can. If we're not willing to show up and do things differently and take different motor actions to actually shift results, then it can pass us. Like, you will not get a driver's license if you don't actually show up and take the test or apply for it. You're not going to win the lottery, and not that I'm encouraging you to play the lottery, do your thing, but you're not going to win the lottery if you don't buy the ticket. So there are certain things where us actually showing up and claiming what we want and being honest about what we want and what we're currently willing and able to do about it, that's required. It's not just thinking about it. And so I want to challenge you today, if you're like me, and again, I've literally done this, where you have all these tools, which is beautiful. Like, you have these tools, and again, you may have resources and support and human support that can help you kind of anesthetize and feel better about your boo-boos. And you can kind of talk yourself out of like, yeah, I didn't really want that anyway. But that is actually, it can be more harmful than helpful in terms of you advancing and expanding and growing and showing up and experiencing the things that you want to show up in this lifetime, because you can trick yourself into feeling better about something temporarily. But like I said, that voice that's like, no, I do want to experience that thing. It's only going to get louder, and it is going to start showing up, and it can really start effing with your life and your daily flow. And that's on purpose, because the goal is to help you be honest with yourself. And if you do decide to work with me through the trimester of awesome, or if you want to explore working together one-on-one, then reach out to I can let you know capacity and all that. And there's an option for both people who are joining me in the trimester of awesome and want to upgrade and add one-on-one support. I currently have capacity for that as well. My goal is just to help you be honest with yourself. My goal through these podcasts, even if we never work together, through any message that I'm sharing with you, is to help you feel connected with who you actually are. Because that is the life force. That is your spirit. That is where your energy comes from. And when your battery is charged, then you have more capacity to show support and be there for other people who need it. It's like taking the charge and pass it on. This little light of mine, the whole candle, light a candle, light the candle, light the candle, light the candle. If you can charge your battery, and you can only do that if you're being honest about what you actually want and need right now, then you have more capacity to help other people do the same. And we all need each other for that. Like, that's what we're here for. We're all connected. So we are counting on you to be honest about who you are and what you want and what you came here to do and be in this moment, in this season of life. So all I'm here to say is, stop talking yourself out of what you really want, and just start having some honest conversations over there. If you need a facilitator for your conversations with yourself, that's what I do. That's what I will be doing every week between now and the holidays through the trimester of awesome. Imagine how your life would be different in the middle of December of this year if you actually prioritized and bubble wrapped time to be honest with yourself about these things. And it's not just about making yourself feel better about what's not happening. It's about being honest about what you can shift. And so, I don't know about you, but I would rather be doing mindset work, air quotes, on actions that I'm actively taking, talking myself into what I want, as opposed to talking myself out of it. And that's what we're going to be doing. And can you tell that I'm fired up? I want to hear from you. So click a link somewhere if you're applying to join us, or if you just have a comment. I would love to hear what resonates with you. I know I'm going to need to hear this message probably in 5 minutes, but I'm just saying, if you're like me and you're using that beautiful brain of yours to talk yourself out of what you want, please consider trying something different so that you can experience what comes on the other side. And you can use these beautiful tools that you have to help you on the other side of action. Let's get to the action. At this point, it's like you just got to hit a point where you're fed up with hearing yourself talk in your mind to rationalize stuff. And you're going to change. It's like when a fan changes and it's going one way and then it slowly changes the other. Like, we're going to stop talking ourselves out of what we want, and we start rotating in the other direction. We're talking ourselves into what we want, and we're using those tools of comfort for the boo-boos in the arena as opposed to in the cheap seats, trying to pretend like we don't want to be in the arena. You do, whatever that is for you, whatever that looks like for you. Be honest about it and allow yourself to be supported in consistently being honest about it and doing what you need to do to get out of your head and back into action. I know I can help you with that. Let me do that. Click a link and let's talk. Okay. Love you. Bye. Okay, technically that was the end of the episode, but since you're still here, one, I'd love to thank you for spending part of your day with me, and two, I'd love to ask you if you would take 30 seconds, maybe 60, to leave a rating and review in your podcast app before you tap out today. If you've already done that, it's amazing. Please send me a screenshot so I can thank you personally, and know that sharing this episode with a friend has the same magical powers, and I deeply appreciate both. Also, in case you're listening to the end to see if I ever actually introduce myself, hi! My name is Nikki Elledge Brown. I'm the host and author of Naptime Empires and this here On Her Terms podcast. You can find me around the internet at Nikki Elledge Brown in most places, but what you may appreciate most is actually over at onherterms.com. It's what I call the insider library. It's where you can get inside scoop, first listen rights, email updates every time there's a new episode, and then special insider only bonus content. It's all over in our private feed. Okay, that's a wrap for real. I'll meet you in the next episode.